Want to master your first woodworking joint? I'm going to show you how to do a half lap joint, and we're only going to use a saw. So minimal tools for this one. It's our first woodworking joint, a proper joint, not a butt joint screwed together. This would be a proper joint if you glue it. So we've got 2 pieces of timber, we've got pencil, sharpener, combination marking gauge, and a Tenon Saw, bench vise. Definitely got a working drawing. So I've done my working drawing and I've started to mark out my timber. I want it to look like this. So we've got top, and I'm going to put my face and edge on it. So that is my face and edge marking. We've got a base, we've got a face and edge marking. That is hugely important because they are our reference points, and that's where we're going to be marking out and working from. It's going to end up looking like this working drawing. The top one is going to go all the way over that piece, and the bottom one will go underneath, like that. When we're doing this one, we're going to leave a small overhang. It's our first joint. We're going to let it overhang a little bit, because when you progress, you're going to be able to follow through and plane that off, but that comes down the line. The other thing is, if you're watching this video, you can check out in the description below, or I have it here, bluewoodhandyman.com/tutorials. Because on YouTube, we've got lots of videos and they send you off in all sorts of directions, but I've tried to put some structure to it for you to be able to follow, all for free. Marking out. I'm going to put this top piece over this one with a slight overhang. I'm putting a little mark on it. I'm not drawing a straight line all the way across, just a small mark. Let me do that with a pen, and hopefully that's a little easier to see. Just a mark. This one can go over here, leave 5 to 10 mil on that side, put a small mark. Purposely putting a mark on it and not a straight line. When people are starting out to put a straight line, they think, oh, that's a lovely straight line off the edge of that timber. But it's not a perpendicular line. It's not at 90 degrees. It's not a square. So just a mark. Pop this in your vise. We're going to use the square on our Tenon Saw. That's here. Put that, my pen on the mark. Bring it up to it. Mark across. Turn my timber. This edge will go against the face side. Let's see where we're going on that one. And run it through there. If I flip that over, I have to turn my square over, because I want to hit that side there. It must be on an edge side or a face side. This is on my face. If you've invested already in a combination square or a tri-square, that's what you'd use. But I just wanted to show you that you can do it with minimal tools. Take this edge, let's do this one backwards because I want it on more of the timber. So that's going to go across here. That's it. Across that edge. But I need to lean over to see it. Can't see it, so I'll do it this way. Put my little mark in there. If you can get a combination square, do so. But if you don't have one, use the saw. We've squared all the way around that one. Nice. We've got our timbers. Let's double check against our working drawing again. It's going to go that way. We've got our combination marking square. There is a video on how to use one of these correctly. Check that out for more details. I won't really get into it too much in here, but I will do a few tips on it. Found the center. So you find the center for my marking both sides. But what's seriously important all the time is to keep this block against the face side of both timbers. Then if there are any misalignments, it'll be the same distance from that face in all the time. So ultimately it'll end up being correct. Let's run that line down here. Flip you over through here. I put a dot in the end to stop it, so when I push that, it stops in there. Then we're going to drag that down in here. We highlight the line with a pencil. Mark after you've done your marking outline. I went off a little, that's okay. I'm not cutting that one. Through there. At this stage, check your base. What's coming off? Check your waistline. the top of that bit is going to get cut off. So hash that out. That's going to be removed. This is part of your marking out, and it'll help you in all your joints going forward. That's our waist. Lovely. Next one. Here's my face. On the right side, I'm right-handed. Dent there. Run that down into that. It stops. Stops there. Tighten that up. Run it down and run it across. Thank you very much. Combinations marking gauge. We're done with you. It's handy to make use of a vise if you've got one, or some sort of clamping equipment on here, especially if you're learning this in college. Instead of trying to mark your timber here, use as many hands as you can. The top, that's going to get cut out. That means the top of this is staying, the bottom here is going to get cut out. Hash that one out. Keep that in my pocket. So there we go. The top stays. I can see that because that solid line going through there. So it should stay like that. And that one goes. If I'm a little confused by it, you could rub out that line. But because I did it in pen, we'll do that. There we go. That'll do fine. Right, the important part. How we cut this down. There's 4 steps to that. It's going to be easy to see from this direction and from this direction. We're going to take our 4 steps. I'm putting it in the vise and I'm going to stand this up perpendicular. Being right-handed, I would want to stand there, but then I'd have my back to you, so that won't be great. Well, I'll do it for you. Now, on the waist side of the line, we're going to cut on this waist side. So I want to get as close to that line as I possibly can, but not on the line and not on the good side. It must be on the waist side of the line. And that is not the left or the right or the top or the bottom. It's the waist side, wherever that is. This time it's over there, now it's over there. Must be on the waist side of the line. Does have a name. When I'm cutting it, first I'm going to cut a small line across the top. Get in there. Blow that dust out of the way. You can still see my line across here. That's what we want to see. Now at this stage, I don't want to cut all the way down. So that's step 1. For ye this way, put it in the vise at 45. And you'll be able to see down both of these lines. That's ideal because what we're going to do now is take our saw down this line and put a dent in it. That dent that we cut out is called a kerf. K-E-R-F. Kerf. That's a key word. Tilt my timber a bit more. Bring that kerf line down to the bottom of the baseline where you're going to cut. You don't want to go beyond it. So that's my kerf line down here. Turn your timber over. This is step 3. We're going to do our 3rd kerf line. That's through there. When we do the kerf lines like this, that means now step 4. When we step that up, I'll do it so you can see it. When we step that up, I'm going to cut through it. Now I'm going to cut all the way down, but I don't have to keep coming and checking to look on this side to see if I'm straight. I can stand back here and focus on this line and come down here because the blade should now follow my kerf line. It won't follow a pencil line, it'll go wherever it wants. But if there's a kerf line in there, it should follow that kerf line. You can check it a couple of times, but you don't have to check it as often. So this is your step 4, cutting right down. This is a rip cut. The Tenon Saw will do a rip cut because you're ripping down through the grain. When I get to the bottom of this, I want to keep this level. Then I should be level on that bottom line. But when you get closer is when you want to check it out. Now, we're nearly there. We don't want to go too far. That's our cutout. At that point, we don't need a bench chuck or anything. We can put this in here and cut this down till we get it out. Let's do the other side. Want me to talk you through that again? Let's do that again. I know it's video, you can play rewind, but let me do it again. 4 steps. Step 1, keep it level. Do the top, small kerf on the waist side of the line. As 1 kerf. Step 2, put it at a 45-degree angle or more in your vise so you can look down both lines. As your 2nd kerf. Flip it over. 3rd kerf. Going in there. 5 I was doing this, I'd cut it from here, but you wouldn't be able to see from there. Maybe, well, we saw that on the last one. Let me cut it this in. Drop it in there, cut down, keep that plump and solid. Hands above the blade. Don't hold your timber like this and cut it through it. I've seen it happen before. It doesn't end well. Down to the line, happy with that. At this stage, done away with the bench hooks. You can put it in your bench vise, hook that in there. We're going to do a cross cut on the waist side of the line. Base. Hopefully you haven't hashed your timber on both sides and you're not sure which is which. If you need to double check, go to the drawing and check. This is only hashed on one side, that's our waist. Clearly hashed out. Now, at this stage, when this doesn't come out, don't go pushing your timber in here and cutting that way. It flicks out, that's where people cut themselves. Take your time at it, put it upright, cut it down a little bit more. Out it goes. You might have to turn it back, cut it there again. So we're looking at our drawing, so only check out the tutorials, they'll be in order. We've got a corner half flat. It's not perfect, it's not totally smooth. That's what you'd work on in the next stage with a chisel, and you'd make that get closer down. But for that, where these would be quite often used is on a roof, as a roof plate on a structure. If you had a wall going around here, and you wanted to join up one bit of timber with another, you could put them over, put a screw through it, works. And lots of other places. But the idea of the 4 steps to cut down through that timber is fundamental to all other joints later. So when you check out the other joints, we'll be doing the exact same. See you in the next one.